groove going all right, all night. Yeah, yeah. All right. It's true. We got to fade in for the horizontal crew. Let's all get horizontal. And we're doing it. And we're doing it. Let's go, everybody. It's that time. Hold on, one more time. And we're doing it. And we're doing it well. And we're doing it right. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah. If you have struggled, or even if you're in a good place with the pentatonic, this is going to be a revelation for you today. This is going to be a whole new situation. Let's go, everybody. We slay the dragon today. Go ahead and post in the comments right now, what is your number one favorite spot of the pentatonic? And I didn't know what the boxes were, what the numbers were up until very recently. But I want you to tell me, is it box one? Is it the tried and true, the classic, the one that we all learned in our very first guitar lesson? You know the one. In fact, we're gonna get into a warm-up now. We've got no time to waste because I promised you we're gonna hit all 5 shapes of the pentatonic. So let's go, grab your guitar. Where are you tuning in from? Happy Saturday, it's Saturday in our world. We're excited to be here, and that's right. We're starting with the one that we know and love, Stockholm Syndrome. Coming up now, let's go E minor, let's do a thing. Ooh, we had a little loop in there already. Let's clear that out, clear that out, clear that out, clear that out. Everybody breathe. 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. I like that. Easy breezy. Grab your guitar. Here's the trick though. We're not going to go all the way through the scale. We're going to stop. This is a reoccurring theme. We're going to stop at the rest areas. The rest areas are the roots. You're going down the Ohio Turnpike and you're living for the next rest area. Then we just breathe. Join me on that. Here we go. And we go from a root to a root. That's right. We gotta walk before we shred. One more time. Now we start from this root and we go down. That's right. Piece by piece. Okay, now we start from this middle root and we go up. Yeah, we're knocking them down. Same thing, low to high. Got to be able to access the roots. One more time. And even one more. Now we're going to go that high root down to the middle one there. You can put a little, if you're feeling it. One more time there. We already know this one. I promise you, that one's an old friend, but whoa, 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 whoa. What about this one? Yeah, okay, first let's identify the roots. This would be box 2, I guess. I don't know, I'm new to this whole, like, naming the boxes thing, but I'm trying to be nice. It's part of my therapy. No, I'm just kidding. So, we are gonna go from the low to this. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Oh my gosh. There it is. Ah, I gotta dust it off. That's as much as we're gonna do. Okay, ready, set, here we go. Then we hang out on that root. One more time, low to high. A little bit more sauce. Here we go, one more time. Let's go from that root down. You can hit that low E if you got it. I love you, progress bar, but today we're stretching out this warm-up. Here we go, one more time. Love it. Now let's go from this root and continue up. That's what we're doing, but smooth it out. Here we go. One more time. Now check this out. Bit of a lick there. We might even know that as the House of Blues. That's a bit more like musically free. So play some sort of Albert King licks there. Remind yourself that you actually probably know a bit about that box shape, even though down here was a hiccup for me too. Oh my gosh, it's early in the day. What is it, 12:30? What am I doing? What am I working on? Rockstar hours over here? What's the deal with this box? What's the deal with this box? Okay, root here, root here. This one, if you don't know it yet, this is a money maker down low. Cause check it out, we got this. That's good times. Let's play that now. Something, we'll build a little riff. Match me, won't you? 1, 2, 3, starting on the low. Boom, 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 ba, boom. There it is. Just that much. Yo, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom. How are we doing Instagram? I'm waving at my phone over here. Yo, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom. I'm attempting to do vertical. I'm trying to be everything to everyone. One of those days. Now let's go from this root. Here we go. Nice. Let it breathe. Roots are your rest area. Now let's go high to low between those two octaves. Right, this is a little awkward area in this shape, I think. We're not as familiar with that little stretcher. That's okay. Not all of these places are you going to use all the time. But if you're sitting here saying like, well, do I have to? Do I have to learn all of them? It's like, I don't know. You don't have to do anything. But you're watching this video, so maybe you want to. I don't know. Here we go, from here. Nice. Just that much. And later in this video, we're gonna obviously dive into seeing shapes like triads, double stops, the whole thing right there. But we're just doing our overview, our survey of the shapes so that you know you found the right video. Holy camole. Shape 4. Shape 4 is like maybe the sleeper hit of the season, I'm telling you. Mint green is in, and so is shape 4. Ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, I love this spot. Oh, getting spicy. Hold on. Let's go from low to high. Here we go. Starting down low. Here we go. Watch this. Try that. We're gonna go past the root and then come back to it. Do, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom. Believe it or not, this is sneaking in some ear training as well. Boom, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom. If you want to, you can be answering the phrases after I play it, right? So you can kind of hear it and then respond. Now let's go from this root. Just octave to octave. Ken, you're asking the questions you can't ask yet. It's like, why do I need these words? Oh, depends on the conversation, right? We will answer all your questions and leave you with more in a bit. Can you do that? Go all the way up to the top of the scale from that root, and then come back and then just chill back on that root. Oh, and we're moving on. Don't worry, we'll be seeing lots of these shapes. This one is my second favorite. I don't know. Now I'm actually getting into teaching this. I'm like, you know, there is gold in all of these hills. Take my enthusiasm genuinely as a sincere show that like, I use these things and they each have their own special thing. And if you play them and use them in songs and in jams, then you'll be like answering your own question of like, why and when would I use it? It's like, you'll use it when you use it. Your answer for why will be hopefully informed by like things you like to do. Like here's a lick that I wrote in a song that I could only play here. That little is something that I really like, and I found it in this shape. Nowhere else. Let's go from low to high. Dig it. Box 5. Here we go. We'll do that. We'll go from low straight up to that octave. Here we go. Now let's go from this one. Now let's go from high to low. One more time. Yeah, that's sort of like that rake kind of thing. Kyle here. We got Calf Tech. We got Ken. We got Tony Martino. Everybody, let's cool it off. How are we? Was that making sense? Was that warming you up? Let me know by answering with just simply a 1, a 2, a 3, or 4. You know, was it making sense? Was it working for you? I want to give you many dips into the swimming pool of how to really play with the pentatonic shapes, so that if you have it on your to-do list, how many of you, here's an actual opening question. How many of you have somewhere in your life seen a chart that looks like this? And follow-up question, how many of you have kept an image like this around, like printed up on your wall, like on a poster or something, in the hopes of like absorbing it all? Because we just played through those shapes. And it is valid. I mean, it's music. It's not my fault. Like the notes are on the guitar. Like a lot of times we get sort of hung up on like, should I, would I, could I learn this? And if I learn this, am I gonna not learn that? Just compare how many times we're scrolling on our phones or taking a nap or doing something unrelated to guitar where we could just be learning it. Meaning we could just, little slight sort of like, nudge there. It's like you could just learn box 4 and then decide for yourself if you like it. In the time that it would take to make an excuse about not learning box 4 or reading comments about people who said, you're never going to use this, but who cares? Just learn it and try it, see what you like, and then I'll give you more and more reasons and use cases. That's what this is all about. So if you're wondering how and when and where, I'll just show you some examples of how I would use it. Yeah, so all those dots are totally stressful, as Mark is saying. I couldn't agree more. So that's why we break it up into chunks. And when I'm looking at the fretboard and moving through these different shapes, I am not seeing all of that by any means. Much more likely, and I sometimes sort of illustrate this. I'll see if I can do this. Ooh, let me use the power of the iPad. I'm going to make this huge just to illustrate a point. Like, as I'm going through this, in fact, I'll use black. It's sort of like as I zero in on this area, like I might be just seeing that much of it. And then the moment that I zoom out, I might have access to that information, but I'm only seeing a certain chunk of it, or I might see like that shape and that shape in any given moment. And that's how you want to be. You want to have access to these things. So we're going to do a lot of drilling today and just sort of get these shapes, like the muscle memory going. But when you go to play it, you definitely will and should be zeroing in on areas that you use more than others. So like that area right there is kind of like a great, like sort of, it's a combination of one shape and part of another one. Like, and then, and sure, maybe some of the blues masters that you listen to have no regard for the names of the box shapes. That's great for them. But here we are on the internet learning it. So we might as well just face that we're going to have to know a little bit about where we're going, because that's the way our analytical brains are working. So I'm going to give you more tools that you can then run with. And if you end up only using 1 or 2 of these shapes like clockwork, that's great. Then my work is done here. So with that in mind, let's take away some of this extra jibber jabber. And I want to work you through some little games, some little challenges. Let's take it on back to the box 1. For starters, what we did in that warm-up is that we broke the chain. The typical chain of like, I guess I'm supposed to practice this scale, so I'll play it all the way down and all the way up. And the habit that forms, and I'm sure you've experienced it at some point in your playing, is like, oh, wait, but now when I go to jam along, like in a song or even worse, if you're jamming with other people, I find like I'm on autopilot and I just keep going from the next note to the next note. And it sounds sort of stilted, and it sounds like you're just kind of running inventory, right? So the way to just simply break that pattern is just what it sounds like. Break it up into like shorter runs, like do octave to octave. And when you aim at those roots, you're going to be establishing more understanding of where you are on the map. Better yet, if you can find one of those roots that isn't the very top one, the very high one, or the very low one. Like, it's helpful to locate, well, I'm in E minor. Great, I'll start by playing the low E. Boom, right? When you do that, you're kind of just sort of, it's like you're starting to announce all the letters that you know instead of starting with saying a word or saying hello. It's like instead you're starting with like H, E, L, L, like, you know what I mean? Like, start conversationally if you can and give yourself more options. So for starters, locate the roots within each box shape, even if you just do that. So those are the 3 E's that occur in this E minor pentatonic. And then ask yourself, well, could I jump in to the middle? And then avoid that temptation. And then you just hang out on the top note of the scale, and then you come back down, right? Try to just make it shorter, change direction. Just break your own pattern is the first big thing. That's connected to the idea of knowing where the roots are within each shape. So I have a question for y'all. If I wanted to get more bang for the buck from this position right here, yes, it's E minor pentatonic. Can anyone tell me what other pentatonic, what major pentatonic shape these dots line up with exactly? What, if it's E minor pentatonic, what exactly would that match up with as its relative major? Many of you have this. As you think about that, I got to let in the star performer here. Lolly demanding access. Lolly has entered the chat. Yeah, it's G major, right? Okay, so now follow-up question. How many G roots are in this box 1 shape? And I'm just going to use box 1. I'm not going to try to convert like this is, we'll use this as box 1 for the minor pentatonic. We'll use it as box 1 for the major pentatonic, because I don't care. We could call it ham sandwich, whatever. Like, we're just labeling it. And if some person in the corner of the internet has a different way of numbering it, I don't care. Here we are. So there's 3. And they're going to be here. Whoa, I forgot to make the pen smaller. That was fun. That was kooky. Boom, boom, boom. So let's just do a little bit of what we did with E minor. And I'll create a little backdrop here, hovering on a G type of thing. Great. So we got a little vamp here. Now let's kick it. Let's go from low, but then we kick it. We kick it again. We just stop right on that next root. Okay, so I'm starting on a root and I'm ending on a root. That gives you my girl, right? My girl. Boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba. Let's go from that G in the middle. Ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom. So you keep playing some short riffs. The idea is that there's a million backing tracks out there. Obviously, my members and I, we have tons of backing tracks. I create jam tracks. I put them into the members area, the practice tools section. Anytime you're jamming over like a vamp like this, that's just hanging out on one chord, if it's a major flavor, run short phrases. And while you're sort of running through your sort of like musical warm-ups, you're like doing this musically, make it count. Make short phrases that remind you, okay, these are where the roots are. Little licks like that. And until you have those roots really internalized so you can just hit them, use them as your sort of rest areas, right? So work the higher area of the scale now. Try that. Simply doing that is going to get you unlocking the 2 scales for the price of 1, because the work that you're putting in to learn this shape now carries over into like, oh, so all I have to do is know how to find the roots that equal the relative major. So if E minor was that, If it switches to G major, as many songs do, just think of the first two chords of Little Wing. It's like E minor, G major, right? And don't be fooled by the person with the loud voice in the comments section saying like, it's just E minor. It's like, sure, the player might be thinking one thing and having a different result, but you're going to be the person that's moving with the changes and you're going to be informed. And I want you to be the player that's like, okay, E minor. Those are subtle differences, and it's in the inflection and the flavor. And particularly, let's now, if we go back into this jam, if we're playing and we're just in G major, you're not going to be playing in E minor. So you're going to need to know how to make it sound like G major. Let's move on to a new shape, just like we did with the E minor. Okay, ask yourself again, how many G roots does this shape have? We picked up the two that we had right there, and I'll answer for you. I think we got it. We've got this one right there. Once again, play a short lick like. So as we go through these now, I'm going to start to spell some of my favorite little triads and fills. We're getting the bang for the buck as we go through these. So check it out. There's that G major bar chord, right? Notice how it lights up smack dab in the middle of this shape. You could almost associate this shape, this box 2, with, oh yeah, that's the one that hovers right around this classic major bar chord. If you haven't already, I do tons of videos about triads. My members know. We do lots of workouts on triads. One of the easiest ways to start seeing them is just noticing that they live inside of a bar chord. We got into this week in our workouts on the pentatonic boxes. So see how each one of those 3 string chunks is living inside that full bar chord. That's great. So now what we're going to do is a little game of call and response. I'll play a triad. And now you do that. So I'll play that a few more times and then you can respond. So what you're going to do is play a triad, top 3 strings, and then you just let it hang out. Okay? So I'll play the full phrase, then you answer it. Here we go, triad. Now you play that. So this, hopefully as you're going, is like, oh, chord, phrase. Now we have a slightly different phrase. Notice that I'm grabbing the next triad down. It goes like this. We go. Okay, we'll do a little bit more, then we'll take a breather. Let's go. This next triad down here. Play something like that. I'm just trying to make sure we move through the different registers of this box. And we're punctuating it, right? We're not just plowing through the scale. We're doing a little bit of tasty chord work. Because if I'm like, so everything that I was just playing, not to say that that's like, oh, that's the best thing ever, but that style of playing, I was only using pentatonic, and I was only using the major pentatonic. You can see how that's an utterly different sound than those exact same dots right there. Now let's imagine that, okay, let's say if I was wanting to get the E minorness out of that sound, then I probably wouldn't be like hanging and bouncing on these G triads as much. I'd be doing more like, I would be emphasizing the those E roots, and I would also be playing phrases and pieces of chords. I would be emphasizing that E minor-ness. So is that making sense? Even if, I don't expect you to just absorb all this and magically be able to do it, but is it at least making sense for you that like, oh, if I can just use the same dots and adjust the levers to get two flavors, two entirely different sounds, and then if you add a little more meat on the bone and be like, oh, if I could also know where those triads are, then I could be in the territory of like playing a full bar chord, breaking out a triad, playing a cool fill. You know, leaning on the shape of the pattern, you know, using it like we all do, but giving it some constraints so it's not just like, oh, I guess it's my turn to solo. Okay. Right? You don't want to be that person who moments before was playing nice and rhythmic and cool. And then it's like, okay, play solo. Oh my gosh, soloing is this. I got to show them I know everything. No, we were talking about this in our Zoom hang yesterday. By the way, we do Friday Zoom hangs in our community. If you, and I always forget to mention this, but here we are, 2 weeks free, no matter what. If you're watching this and you're not a member yet, it's amazing. So many of the people that are watching right now are my members, and we do workouts throughout the week. So Monday through Thursday, we do live workouts. You can always watch the replays. And then on Friday, we do a Zoom hang together, and somehow they have the stamina, or maybe I've just driven them crazy. They come out and they kick it with me on a Saturday. Most Saturdays I do these public open streams, but typically, these are private streams that are part of the community. We stay on one topic throughout the week. And this week, we've been in Pentatonic world. And so now we're kind of like celebrating all the things that we've learned. Context is awesome. That's the idea. Let's continue working through these because we're digesting the different shapes. And hopefully now as we go, we're bringing to light like, oh, okay, so this shape is really good at the, like those kinds of things that you maybe have learned in various different songs, right? You might be like, oh yeah, it reminds me of like a Jack Johnson thing or whatever. But now when you connect the idea that, oh, that lick wasn't just coming from anywhere, that was coming from how easy and comfortable it is to play in these particular shapes. So hopefully each one of these will bring forth like the merits of what they're good for. This one was kind of a fun discovery this week because it's an in-betweener. It feels a bit like, oh, I don't know, it's sort of an awkward shape, right? Because you have this thing here and that thing there. But can anyone tell me what they see in this region right over there that is sort of a nice identifier? It's sort of a landmark. And let's go back to our G major context. So we've got this, in fact, I'll use this other, I think I have a G Vampa Lampa right about here. Ooh, nice and clean. We got Galen Maynard in the house. Galen's a moderator. You gotta keep it moderated. So yeah, we got this G triad just like doing its thing up here. And if you're wondering what I mean, it's like, oh, okay, so there's a G, and then we've got this triangle, right? That piece of pizza right there. So if I play D, scoot it all the way up to G. Right? So everything is based off of the root being your anchor. Then you have your shape, at least in the way that we're looking at it today. So let's play a little bit of this game. G triad. Try that lick. Go for it. Bam. Boop, bop, boop, bop, boop. Great. This little like dyad right here gives us a major third. That G and that B, it's two of the three notes of a triad. So it's a great little kind of cute little like 2-note chord. And this lower area of the scale I just love for this kind of really luscious, kind of low Hendrix style fills, right? Try that. And don't be afraid to put some vibrato on it like that. Right? Me likey. Now let's say we switch this over to E minor. Get ready, we're switching the field to E minor. I'll give you some time to sort of kick the tires and see if you can locate the E, those root notes within this shape. Okay. Now, when I'm using this shape, I really like the fact that I can do like. And so I'm kind of sneaking in that blue note, that flat 5 there. But that's totally allowed. I mean, that's just sort of like part of that's your built-in sort of sprinkles on top to a regular minor pentatonic. And that's a different sound than if I was in a different area of the neck. Having the root right here with my index finger, and then having those notes right there to bounce off of, like that flat 3. And as I was saying before, down here, this is like that whole lot of love. Love that, right? Is that still making sense? So we've gone from, let me see, I think I have the numbers here somewhere. There they are. I'm going to put up the full carnival here just for a moment, just to remind us that we don't need to see all these all the time, because if we did, we would be puking up Fruity Pebbles. Who used to have Fruity Pebbles? I used to snarf those sort of like crazy brightly colored cereals. What was your favorite cereal growing up? I think Captain Crunch was pretty great. Crunch Berries was a classic, but man, we all know you got to let the Captain Crunch soak a little bit. If you just dive right in with the crunch, you're just going to it's like having fiberglass in your mouth. Cocoa Puffs is a good one. Yeah, we got a lot of friends in the community that are from Canada. Were there any like uniquely Canadian cereals that when you hear us talk about like, oh yeah, frosted shredded wheat, and then it's like, oh, you mean like Weetabix or whatever, like in the UK version. I tend to feel like we have the more crazy side of the scale. Lucky Charms, yeah, I could never get with the Lucky Charms. Even as a kid, I'm just like, it's too much marshmallow. What is this stuff? Apple Jacks were pretty good. See, it's funny how like Honey Nut Cheerios seem like, oh, this is like the sensible one. I'm having sort of like the grown-up cereal, and it still has the exact same amount of all the goodies. Anyway, questions, comments, concerns. I forgot to run this ad. I am now partnered with our good friends at Gator. So take a moment and think about the next time you have a trip coming up, whether or not you're planning to take your guitar. And if you're like, I don't know if I can do it, I've heard some horror stories, let me tell you, Gator's got you covered. This video is sponsored by Gator Cases. Guitarists, like any other musician, value the advantages of proper protection for their gear and arriving in their destination city with one guitar and not two pieces of one guitar. Guitars, amps, effects, and accessories all need safe transport and storage. Luckily, Gator's got you covered. Yeah, they do. Oh man, did anyone catch that tiny clip of AI generated awesomeness that I put in the middle of it? I sort of like read that script and used their footage, and then I'm like, oh, we need to see a moment where our worst dreams have come to light, where a couple of baggage claim people are just like heaving it in the air, because that footage does exist in real life. Yeah. I need to accept your LinkedIn request. Come on, Caftech. Get with the times. Yeah, add me on Friendster. All right, moving on. Let's get into we're in the home stretch. We're past like the halfway mark. We've got ourselves through box 3 now. Ba-boing, ba-boing, ba-boing. Now let's look at box 4. Oh, this one's good. This is the Sultan spot. This is the Dire Straits spot. I hope that makes people on the internet upset that want to correct me on things, but you can't worry about these people. They're out there living their lives, or maybe they're not. Okay, let's look at this, and let's start in the minor idea here, because this one really, to me, screams, it's either way, honestly. Like, that's the beauty of these things, is that once you start to see them as both major and minor, right? That shape, if you don't have that one down yet, that G major or that C shape of the major right there, is so worth it. And as far as questions that anyone might have about like, when would I use this or blah, 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 or should I, could I, would I learn this? It's like, all I can say is like, yes, please learn that shape. You will use it tons. It has triads from top to bottom. Even though I'm talking about, in fact, let's actually start with the G major, because I'm all over it. This right here that's that triangle. Remember, these things overlap. Whatever the high notes of the previous box have, boom, they exactly overlap with the lowest frets of the next shape. So that's why it kind of looks crazier than it is because they have notes in common. They're abutting, they're touching. So right there there's that triad shape up the top. Love that. Next 3 strings, triad. Next 3 strings, triad, and then these low ones are really great to know. They're pretty thick, but if you play them separately, like that kind of stuff is beautiful. All right, let's jam on some G major action here. And by the way, towards the end, we're going to move to different keys. We're not just going to get too cozy in E minor and G major, because that's also the Achilles heel. You all put in a lot of practice on one key, and then you're like, okay, well, let's do it in A. And you're like, well, I don't have A on my guitar. It's like, yeah, you do. Come on. Okay, let's do the same thing we've been doing. Here we go. Triad. Try matching that lick. And again. You do it. I'll stay out of the way. Ooh. Okay, let's move down to strings 2, 3, 4. Here we go. That's fun. Notice also, as I'm playing this, there's nothing that says that just because this is a scale shape, that you have to play these notes always one at a time. I'm letting these notes kind of ring out. Right? You do not have to look at these dots and think, well, I guess I'm playing a solo, so I'm only playing melody. Harmonize. And that's where you want to experiment and be like, okay, play a chord, try some double stops. Now this one. Great, I love it. You keep playing a couple more of those. I'm gonna get us centered now on our E minor sound. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play an E minor chord coming up now. Nice. Try this right here, this bending on this spot right here is amazing. And this upcoming week, we're gonna be talking about bending. I think that's the topic I'm gonna go with. I always let it sort of percolate over the weekend. For my many workouts, we've just reached the 500 mark. You might see on the screen over here where it says 509. We're at workout number 509. Don't be overwhelmed. Just come join us. You get 2 weeks free to try everything. You can watch all the previous replays. You can watch some of them. You can watch none of them. Take your time with it. The idea is that it's the ultimate candy store of workouts that you can speed up, slow down, the whole deal. I also have a self-paced course. That's what I'm mentioning whenever I put up this graphic. That's the month to mastery. So if you're like, great, but I want to be told what to do every day. I got you. I can tell you what to do every day. That's a great course, a great sequence with songs and tabs, original songs. So if you like music, but you don't want to just learn famous riff by Pink Floyd or famous riff by whoever, Buckethead, then we're all about the sort of creativity and self-expression. I think you probably got that idea. If you're already here, you're one of my members, or you're watching, you've been seeing my stuff for a while. That's my specialty. That's my forte. So it's all up to you. It's in your hands. Let's move on to the last shape here. This is box 5. Okay. How many roots do we have here? If we're staying in the minor sound here, we've got E minor. Now I'm turning it over to you. How many roots do we have in this shape? And can you tell me exactly where they are? And if you're watching on Instagram, feel free to comment the phrase "get good," and I'll send you a link to all my amazing free lessons. We like the free stuff. And I have a thing called Tim's Open Gym, which is like a robust collection of tabs and lessons. It's pretty much yeah, I like this guy, but I'm not so sure. Comment "get good," and you'll get sent the link to get that, and you'll be in like Flint. Okay, so what do we got? There's 3. Yes, correct. There are 3 roots, 2 on the 12th fret, 12th E high, 12th low E, 89th on G. I'll take your word for it. I've never been that far up. My ears would pop. 9th, there it is. Okay. Boom. And as I was saying in the warm-up, I really love this shape for the... Okay, so we've got some nice sort of like... Oh, I love this. Just try that. Don't even worry about what it is. Such a nice sound, right? Love, love, love that. So what I'm doing there is just bringing in that flat 5. That chromatic stretch right there. Here's another, it's just sort of a tweaked out version of like an E minor 7. And then I got this one. Okay, now let's try a little bit of this bouncing between adjacent shapes. They said we couldn't do it. Oh, we'll show them. So now we've got our roots located. That's what you got to be able to do next, is moving smoothly between a couple of different shapes and making sure that as much as it's great to see these patterns as individual 5 positions, all that, as you've heard, I'm sure myself and many people talk about the power of the diagonal pentatonic, there's no such thing as like the diagonal pentatonic scale. It's more just a way of slicing across the neck. It's just an approach. And so whether you're using a diagonal movement, like moving, like moving low to high in that slicing pattern, or you're just kind of breaking down that barrier between 2 boxes, you want that to be a non-stressful event so you don't have a brain fart. You want to be like, okay, how can I go? Even just taking 1 string, right? So if I'm just trying to go, okay, the moment I get to this string, I'm going to swoop into the nearby shape. I'll show you what I mean. So if I'm starting right here on this 12th fret, 1st string, can I go down for a couple of strings to that one right there, and maybe at that root is where I'm going to switch down into that shape, just to see if I can do it. Let's try that together. 2, 3, 4, nice and slow. We'll go even half that time, so we'll go. See, we're staying in box 5, and now we're scooting, switch. And then just answer it with a nice chord, just so you cool off with some harmony. Okay, let's try this one more time, and I'll show you, like, just a reminder, give it some attitude. Right? When I did that switch on that 3rd string, I gave it some articulation. So like, that kind of stuff I love. What do you guys think of that? So what I'm getting into now is more of the artistic side of it, is like when you decide, okay, I'm gonna make sure I can really swoop between these two shapes. Once you get the mechanics of it and you find your sort of trapdoor that you're practicing, then give it some feeling, because there are interesting things that happen on guitar when you do something that's not necessary, but it's cool. Meaning it's not necessary to stay on one string to get those three notes, because we're like, well, yeah, but I have that note right here. But when you get that swoop, that's a little bit more how like other instruments, including the human voice, move, and it should be a little bit of like it pulls your ear differently. And if that gets you excited, follow that and continue doing that through different shapes. If you're like, well, I don't care, I like then great, keep doing that. Honestly, I know I say it with a tongue in cheek and I seem like a bit of an a-hole, but what I'm really trying to say is like, if you're happy with how your pentatonics sound and you want them to be like that, and you're good with just that one box, nobody is going to change your ways. I think I'm vaguely quoting Across the Universe, you know. But if you're like, if you're intrigued by the possibility of swooping and kind of making these moves that are just kind of quirky, that to me is the fun of like, okay, so I ate my vegetables, I worked really hard at this shape, and now I can do something that is like, is kind of more like you. That's really the goal, is that if you can find something that you like, you grab onto it, then you're starting to add to your own bag of tricks. So just so you know, every time that I get into stuff, it might lean more technical one day to the next, or it might be more sort of open-ended and abstract. My favorite combination is when there's a bit of like all right, you put in the work, you put the sweat on the frets, you get the repetition in, so you got it automatic. And then once you have it automatic, it's like, what do you want to say? Like, what's your favorite way to make this thing be a piece of cake that sounds like you? Any questions? Dermot. Oh, no, I thought it was Dermot up there. We got Dave. We don't know Dave yet, but Dave, it's good to see you. Dave McDonald in the house. For anyone that's wondering, like, is this live? Usually there's somebody, not this week, at least not that I've seen. There's usually someone in the live chat that's like, hey, everybody, just relax. This is recorded. And then I usually call that person out because I have a vengeful heart. No, I don't. I have a loving heart, and we're having a good time. Oh yeah, Michael B with the wrench, with the nice quote saying your guitar wizardry starts right here, right now. Why don't we do, as we have some time left, you know, we're just rocking through these boxes. So, okay, so Ken asking his $1 million question. So which box when? Well, I have to answer that question with a sponsor that is not a sponsor, but hey, when Kirkland is bringing these big bottles in the big cases, you gotta, you got to treat yourself. Okay, so maybe I can ask you, Ken, what is your favorite box? If someone says, play something in the pentatonic, or how about this? This is what a scenario I like to think of. And any of you can answer this. If you were asked to teach someone who is a beginner guitarist, like if they say, hey, I heard about the pentatonic, and they asked you, they said, well, what is the pentatonic, or where should I start? Yeah, Topo Chico, every sort of sparkling water has different bubbles, you know? They just have different, get into the details, right? But yeah, Ken, I'm waiting on your answer. Tell me, what would you teach someone who was asking like, hey, I want to use the pentatonic? And would you have any follow-up questions for them as far as like, oh, you want to learn the pentatonic? Well, then you could just show them the shapes, right? What if their question was like, I want to know how to solo? You're liking shape 4. Okay, so if you showed them shape 4, that's the one that's sort of carrot colored here. While you were there, if you knew that, let's say this beginner knows open chords and they know bar chords, what else would you tell them, Ken, KJH? Like, oh, if you're here on box 4, and maybe say, yeah, like they don't even need to know at that moment that this is called box 4. They're just like, this is a good pentatonic shape to play some stuff. What else would they need to know? It's like, well, then how do I find which key I'm in? And let's do some examples of that, because let's say, for starters, we're in E minor. Great. Perfect. It's a perfect match. We're already there. Right? you can say, you could start by saying just any note you play is going to work, right? If they're a beginner, they don't know what triads are. They're like, they know bar chords, they know open chords. You can find the roots. They're like, oh yeah, I can find the E because that's how I found my bar chord, right? So in that situation, for that beginner, like that's when they switch to that box. What they would do is not switch to any boxes, but they would need to switch to that one box, right? Like if that's your one box and the situation is like, well, this is what I know, and somebody says we're jamming in E minor, then when to use that box would be exactly then and every single time. Now, let's say, okay, we're not going to be in E minor now. We're going to be in C minor. 2, 3, oh. So in C minor, so we're just vibing in C minor, and they're like, wait, now this won't work. That guy lied. That guy Ken lied to me. It's like, oh, well, then you say, well, remember how when you found that root, that was really important, right? Because that matched the key. So now we're in C. It's like, oh, so what you're saying is like, when do I use this box? It's like, well, you use this box when you're able to find the root and scoot the root to the new key. Then it's like, oh, great. And I know that's a little misshape in there. Let me see if I can stretch it out. Yeah, iPad. Oh, I stretched it too far. OCD, why don't you? Come on, get with it. Okay, so now they've located their root and they're good to go. They're like, oh, nice, thanks, Ken. And they're doing their thing. But guess what? Now they're saying, now they have a complaint. They're saying, well, that's cool, but I'm kind of just down here. I'm kind of just down. I mean, that's cool, but I can't really solo because maybe in their mind, they're like, well, soloing is stuff that's up here. So, but how do I do that up here? Oh, okay. So then maybe you're like, well, so what you're asking then is that you want to have access to a higher register, right? Because it turns out that this key that we're in today is a little bit low for what you want to do. Okay, so you could, then maybe they unlock, well, maybe I could take the same shape and move it up 12 frets. I heard that's allowed. So they go up here. And they're like, oh, that's great. It's just a little bit too high. Or maybe they're on an acoustic guitar and they're like, I can't reach those frets. And they're like, it sounds a little bit thin. There's got to be something else here. It's like, boy, oh boy. Ken, do you have good news for them? Because now they've reached that next stage where they're ready to have another box. Let's say our good old friend box 1 comes to the rescue and you're like, yeah. Oh, well, then you're going to want to know how to play that right there. Let's go, iPad. Let's friggin' smash this out of the park. Is this making sense to you guys where it's like little by little, if you have a question, a musical context, like you're in a situation, like it's situation based, it's a sitcom, but you're trying to learn. It's like, oh, now I need another box that gives me. So I hope you can see that like this is a very relatable situation within which, oh, now I need another box shape, because if I only had one, I would be at the mercy of wherever that box shows up in a particular key. So now I'm like, oh, well, yeah. They're like, thank you. Why didn't you just, this is what I bump into a lot when I'm teaching. It's like people are like, why didn't you just tell me that the first time? It's like, because we weren't finding the right question or the right actual situation. They're like, oh my God, I'm going to be a phenom. Get out of the way, Kenny Wayne Shepherd. It's me. It's me now, because I found the thing that sounds like what they wanted to hear in their head. Because if we don't have a musical goal in our head, if we have no hunch of like what we're hankering for, then it takes the fire out of why should we learn it? Why should we learn all 5 shapes? But then if you're suddenly, well, okay, that's good, but where's that thing that's like yeah, where's that sound? And when somebody says, whoa, well, now you're ready for the box that is the House of Blues that lives right up there. And then it's like, oh, okay, great. Well, then that means you're ready for, wait for it, our next shape right here. And they might say, yeah, I don't need the whole thing. I just want that. I want the money notes. It's like, great. You sound excited about it. I will honor that. And for the moment, That's all you're going to need. And in fact, we'll get in there and we'll be like, yeah, and you don't even need this stuff. You just need that much. Great. Now they have another reason. Let's rock it out. Right? So their situation has evolved. And now they're like, I want to be able to play chords. What am I doing when I do this? I go, oh, okay. It's a chunk of a chord. Okay, it's called a triad. Great. I don't care. It's just that thing that I do in between licks. Right? So that's the way that you build your connection to the why. And what I can do for a whole bunch of different players at different levels is that I can show very easy on-ramps into like, oh, here's a way that I might use this shape. Here's a way that I might use this shape. Here's a way that I might use this shape. And then we all got to digest that, throw it into some musical context. And that's why these workouts we do are really so revolutionary. Because I build loops like this throughout the week. I answer questions, we dial it in, and obviously we get in and we get out quicker than a 1 hour. These are the deep dives on the weekend where we really melt our brains and digest it over the weekend. But 2 weeks free is what I offer. And I haven't changed that for a while. I don't expect to change that. So you can try everything. I don't want you to feel obligated. You could just give it 2 weeks. And if it's not for you, you can bounce out. And I will tell you what we can give you for free also that you're not going to find anywhere else, I would hope. It's Tony surfing. And he did. And he did. All right, gang. We're going to jam our way out now on this sort of, by the way, this camera is kind of cool. Look at that. Yeah, you get the pic cam. I think this is going to switch. Here's what we'll do. This will be sort of like random shuffler, because one thing that we didn't do quite enough of, I think, in this jam was switching keys, okay? I'm going to try to undo a lot of those shifting and snorkeling that I did. Oh, yeah. Nice. We'll do that. I'll just put this up here just to terrify us. But we're not scared of it now. Those are all the shapes there, and that's the E minor version of it, E minor and G major. But you might be able to see here that we have some different keys here. So we have C major, we have A minor, D major, B minor, G major, E minor. So very guitar-friendly keys. And what I'll do is that I'll have them switch. I'm going to use, if I do this right, I'm going to use the powers of Ableton and be able to tell these all to switch to some other key. So, and it'll switch after 8 bars. So you'll get the idea. Let's start it together on C major. So actually we'll start on one of the keys we've done. We'll start on G major, so it'll be much more relatable. And I'll delete these other layers right here. Okay, getting this all squared away, ready for launch. We're going to start on G major. 1, 2, 3. Here we go now. You guys have been amazing. Thanks for hanging out. My name's Tim Fagan. You guys are a lot of fun. I hope you have a great weekend. Hope whenever you're finding this, it feels like a weekend. Get ready. We're going to be switching to B minor. That's that flashy green arrow. I think we're doing that right about now. So it's not going to match those dots. Those dots are there just for representing the 5 shapes. But we got to be able to move to our root now, which is B. Get ready, we're going to C major next. I'll turn up the keys and the bass. I do have some backing tracks that switch keys for practice. Exactly. Yeah. And Kevin, you're in the community, so go check out the jam tracks section. And I've just recently labeled them clearly to say key changer. And yeah, you'll dig it. What do we got now? We're rocking in G major. those keys, spicy. Here comes A minor. Woo! Hey, thanks, Mr. J Win. Appreciate it. Be great to see you inside. Say hi when you do. In fact, I gotta go send some personalized messages. I always welcome new members with a direct personal video. It's fun. I really care about how everyone's doing. It's the truth. B minor. Getting ready for D major, and then I'll send you on your way. I worry, I weigh 3 times my body. Love me some JM. He's actually playing here tomorrow. I don't have tickets, but he's playing at a Pilgrimage Fest, you know what I mean? What do we got? All right, we're getting out of town here. Take it easy breezy, rocking on that E minor, full circle, right back where we started. Thanks everybody, you've been real good to me. Take care of yourselves. Oh no, sorry, we're in A minor. What do I know? I don't know anything. I'm tired. Yo!